Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Today in studio with us we have Jesse Gilmore from the K-State Extension Office, and we're going to be learning about edible landscaping. So is that like Willy Wonka or?
A little bit.
Okay.
So edible landscaping is kind of a combination of two of my fields. I am the horticulture extension agent, which means that I'm dealing with fruits and vegetables, I'm dealing with ornamentals, trees, and turf grass. A lot of people really want to have a garden, and you saw a huge uptick in gardening over the pandemic, especially in 2020. Garden centers were selling out all over the place. Not everyone has the time to be able to dedicate to gardening. Some people also have accessibility issues where movement might not be possible. Edible landscaping is an attempt and a growing movement to get food plants into the garden that more have an ornamental aspect to them, but also have some kind of food production aspect to them. So you're looking for plants that have a very nice look during the spring and or the fall, but also have food production of some kind in order to get some of the food back that you might get gardening. It is not as high intensity as like traditional fruit and vegetable gardening is, and often you're going to be finding more niche plants that you've never heard of for food production, but it is a good way to kind of work some food into your landscape naturally that does not require a ton of time or input on your part.
So how does one go about starting this?
So when I've talked with people about edible landscaping, I get a lot of questions about whether or not they should just convert their entire landscape into food producing plants. And no, you should not. Oftentimes when people start with edible landscaping, they should start with one or two really high production plants and then kind of work their way up from there, seeing what they can harvest. A few times I've talked with people who have converted their entire landscape to edible plants, and a lot of food gets kind of thrown by the wayside because of that, because they can't keep up with all of the production that their landscape around their house can create. And so that creates a lot of discouragement when people see, you know, the food that they were initially intending to harvest going to waste. So starting small and then working out from there. One of the main design philosophies of edible landscaping is that you keep the plants that require the most work the closest to your house, and as you spread outward from the house, as you need to, you know, go out farther to water and to harvest, you make those plants easier to care for and easier to harvest from. So those are going to be more like one or two fruit trees that you can harvest from, that you get really big fruit from. The plants that you would want to keep closer to your house include high water intensity herbs, berry plants that you need to pick a lot of fruit from, and those similar types of plants.
What are some easy starter plants for people interested at home that they may want to look into?
Easy starter plants. One of my favorite plants is the chokeberry, Aronia melanocarpa, specifically the black chokeberry. That plant you have to try and kill once you get it established. It is very tolerant of a wide variety of site conditions: sun, shade, sand, clay, wet, dry. It is also a very good producer of berries. The one thing you need to know about chokeberry is that it lives up to its name. It's a very astringent fruit if it does not go through a frost or two in the fall, but that means you are getting fresh fruit from your plants in the winter. Some other good options for edible landscaping include currants and gooseberries, specifically the clove currant or golden currant, Ribes odoratum, is one plant that I like recommending, especially out for the drier parts of the area, because it has a very intense fragrance. Nice bright yellow flowers in the spring, smells like vanilla and cloves, so that would be a good plant to put near places where people frequent, like a deck or patio, so that you can get the benefits of the fragrance in addition to the flowers. But those are two of my favorite edible landscaping plants, and I am teaching a class on edible landscaping at each of our county fairs coming up in about a month. So if you are interested in learning more about edible landscaping, just come on out to Labette, Crawford, Montgomery, or Wilson counties for their fairs and attend my class, and I would love to teach you guys more about edible landscaping.
Awesome, thank you. You guys heard them, just reach out so you can get your own edible landscaping setup